Hi everyone, I hope you are all doing well. Today we're going to be talking about blackheads, about tightening pores, having a poreless skin, all good tips and tricks. Please welcome. Different methods how I deal with pores and blackheads are scattered through my videos, but I've never made like a one concentrated focused video just on that subject, and I've been asked a lot to pull all of it into one video, so here it is. So I'm going to talk you through a few methods that really work for me. Some of them are a little bit controversial. Maybe there are a couple of things that you haven't heard before from me, yeah, I hope they'll be useful for you. Let's start with the controversial mask that I personally find the most effective to lighten the existing blackheads, the ones that I really can't get into, and to clear the smaller ones. The mask is a mixture of lemon and baking soda, and that's it. You blend these two, apply where you have blackheads. In my case, this is around my nose. Leave it on for about 10 minutes and then use an old toothbrush or face brush and massage the mixture into the skin, then rinse it off. I personally find it extremely effective. However, after mentioning it in one of my old videos, I've had a bit of a backlash because people were accusing me of giving bad advice, because this is a very strong mask and not every skin can take it. My skin apparently is quite strong because I don't have any irritation after it. I'm going to show you a before and after of my pores straight after this mask, so you can really see the difference. I don't use this mask very often. I only use it in extreme situations, probably once a few weeks. Nevertheless, I'm sharing it because I find it very, very effective and homemade and cheap, so worth knowing about this trick. Second, my favorite method that made one of the biggest difference in my skincare, in my pore life. This is double cleansing. I use a Korean method of double cleansing twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. This is based on using cleansing oil first that binds with oil-based impurities on the skin, and then following with a face wash. I use Korean or a Japanese face washes. I will tell you why in the next step. This method allows proper deep pore cleansing daily, twice a day, so the dirt doesn't have a chance to form into blackheads in the first place, because you clear it out before it even sits deep in the pores. The third point is really an explanation why I prefer Korean and Japanese face washes as a second step of double cleansing. This is because Koreans believe that the smaller the bubbles in the face wash, the deeper they can get into the pores and clean them out. I don't know how much truth or myth is in this claim, but I can definitely tell that the texture and the effectiveness of Korean cosmetics is way beyond anything I've ever tried on a Western market. My favorite face wash, which I use for a while now, is Perfect Whip, and you may not know that the reason it says Perfect Whip is because it whips into the perfect foam with tiny bubbles, so then it can deeply penetrate your pores. This face wash comes from Japan. It's by Senka, which is a baby brand of Shiseido. It's not too expensive, and I honestly can swear by this because it's the best face wash I've ever used. To further prove how committed to bubbles are Koreans and Japanese is that you can buy over there the special tools that allows to whip the face wash into a perfect foam, which then cleanses your face better, apparently. Tip number 4 is a worldwide recognized cleansing tip. It's using a facial brush. I am using this facial brush by Magnetone, which has different vibration settings, which is supposed to help with deeper, better cleansing. I use it from time to time, not all the time. I just don't feel a need for deep cleansing with the brush all the time. Also, if you have sensitive skin, it can be irritating a little bit, so be careful with this, but it's a great thing to have in your cupboard. So after you come back from holidays, for example, just like I did a few weeks ago, this was a lifesaver. It really helped to bring my skin back to order after camping holidays. Tip number 5 that we shouldn't forget about are all the products designed specially to tighten the pores or clean the pores. You may already know that once the pores are enlarged, you can't really reduce their size. You can only make them appear tighter, appear smaller. Obviously, the size of pores depends on genetics, on your skin type, and many other factors. So it's important to have that in mind, not to look for permanently reducing size of pores cosmetics, because you may just be disappointed. For example, I have this peach Sake Pore Serum. It's a tightening serum from Korea. As you can see, I didn't really use it much, and this is not because it's not working. In fact, opposite, I really find it effective, but because I use all the other methods and the other products, I just don't feel a need to add it to my skincare routine. And by the way, this has been discontinued, but different variation of this kind of serum, I'm sure it's available in Korea. This is a hot steam pack Blackhead Out mask from Korea. It's a self-heating mask. It also has been discontinued, unfortunately. That's the downside of Korean products. If you like something, you better grab few packages straight away, because the chances are a few months later you won't be able to buy them. Another ingredient useful to include in the skincare to help with reducing pore size is retinol. I've started using retinol only a few months ago. I am using the Sesderma Reti H serum, which I definitely like, and definitely can see my skin texture and pore getting tighter and smaller. I'm only using it once or twice a week right now. Maybe I'll increase the usage later in life, but if you're interested in this serum and why I have chosen it, I've done a video last week about it, so please check it out. Finally, I have to mention the clay masks. I have this powder green clay. To be honest, I think they are better probably for oilier skin. My skin is kind of normal. If I use it too often, I find it drying, but I know it's effective. I know it helps. As an addition to other methods for fighting blackheads and large pores, it is great. Maintaining pores in order has to be a part of the everyday skincare. Unfortunately, this is not a quick fix. Skin has to be nurtured all over in order to have the pores look good. So things you can do to keep overall skin look better is to exfoliate regularly, use SPF, of course, because UV rays affect a lot of tissues in the skin, which in turn affect the look of the pores. Moisturizing the skin, of course, I am a big fan of multi-step Korean or Japanese skincare routine, but there are a lot of ways to do it. Just do it. There is one thing I would totally encourage to avoid. This is something I used to use as a teenager because it used to be very popular in Poland a few years ago. We were encouraged to do it in order for the skin to look better, but in fact my pores look the worst they have ever looked. This was basically a homemade facial sauna where you take a bowl of hot water, put some herbs in it, put a towel on top of your head and sit in the steam for 10-20 minutes. It's supposed to open up the pores where you could clean it out, but honestly my pores have been enlarged after these treatments for days. I've never had worse looking skin, and today I know that you shouldn't do this, because once your pore stretch out, it's really hard to bring them back down. Weirdly, I don't have this effect when I go to normal sauna or when I use, hot water in the shower. I don't have any of these problems. Maybe it works for somebody, but at least for me, I know I will never ever do this to myself again. With this word of precaution, I finished all I've had on my list to tell you. I hope this video is helpful and you've learned something new. Thanks very much for spending this time with me. Keep your pores clean. See you later and have a great day. Bye!